And we got the delay, of course, so we never know if we're on for sure or not until it pops up.
I just got a notification that we are live.
Okay.
It's not showing up.
There we go. Yeah. Okay. Now we're on for sure. Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the Insane Asylum.
You got the Three Stooges.
Yeah. Yeah, we got a special guest with us this morning, and we'll talk about Steve's situation later. But the special guest is my son, TJ, and he is the second half of the name of the of my layout, or our layout. My first two initials are CV, and then his are TJ, so it's Cowboy Valley and Timberline Junction. And anyway, I asked him to come on because Steve wasn't sure he was going to be here this morning. So
excuse me.
We got TJ on, and you guys got some questions for him. Fire away, and we'll get him to answer those. Maybe he still owes me, so I'll hold that over his head. But anyway, yeah, he works in Stillwater, Oklahoma, at University of Oklahoma State, and comes home every once in a while with his dog and bothers us. But I got to get him to build the brewery on my layout because that scenery's getting ready to go in. So anyway, that's who we have for our special guest. So other than that, we don't really have a topic this morning. I am going to have him back on with my best friend. He couldn't be here this morning. Otherwise, we'd have done that show this morning. And we'll let them talk about the trip we took to ride the narrow gauge trains a couple of years ago. That should be a good show, but we'll do that when I can get Ted back over here and on the show. So hopefully everybody's doing well. Oh, Roy's in the house. Roy.
Roy, I got
P-Man's here. Good morning, Rob.
Chat.
John's here. Yeah, Bernard's here.
Allison. Good morning, Allison.
Allison's here.
We got Joelle.
Glad to hear your parents are doing better, Allie.
Got Bernard.
Oh, Allie's already got a question for you.
Why? I'm not seeing.
Yeah, it's right there on the screen.
No, my chat is missing some people again. How does this work? I do not see.
They're the ones that don't like you.
I don't see any Johns.
You don't see any Johns?
No.
We got to get on the street more.
Oh.
Lee's here.
I got a couple Johns in the house.
That's why they don't like you.
No. I'm gonna.
Okay, so Allie's asking TJ, how much input does he have on my layout? Well, first I'm going to correct you first, Allie. It's not really just my layout, even though I do the bulk of the work on it. It's our layout. So TJ's the one that's going to have to deal with it when I am no longer here. So that's going to be harder than putting it together. So anyway, I'll let him answer the question now.
Yeah, I mean, so I didn't, come up with the original plans or anything like that, but Dad will usually ask me, hey, what do you think about this, or what do you think about that? And I'll give my input and my ideas, and
then I do it like I want anyway.
Yeah, and then he says, okay, yeah, that sounds good, and then he just decides to do something else. But no, it's being that I don't live there in town anymore. I don't get to help as much as I'd like, but hopefully I'll do it.
Yeah. TJ likes to cook. Okay.
Yeah, that's the other thing.
That's another hobby of his, and so and his mother's a great cook, and so when they come on the weekends, I eat really well, but he's in the kitchen more than he's in the train room. So, but I think TJ's going to like doing the scenery stuff a little bit more than
yeah, that's what I'm looking
than the track laying and that sort of thing, and the planning and stuff. So we're getting close to that setup or situation on the layout, and he'll probably be having a lot more input then.
Yeah, and that brewery, I'm planning on taking a week this summer, so hopefully I can at least get started on it and get some good progress done on it.
Yeah.
Oh, come on.
Oh, Michael McCarville's here. Hey, Michael. In fact, if you have any trouble with that, TJ, watch
Morning,
Michael
Mike.
McCarville's channel. The
Oh, yeah.
guy is awesome at building kits. And he's up in, Michael lives up in Denver. So, okay.
Roy Hardwick says we're not practicing social distancing. Are we too close
We're too
together?
close together, yeah. We're not far apart. Michael's asking me, how did your mug turn out? Oh. I know what you're asking.
Yeah.
Hang on just a second and I'll grab it.
Mine's in the other room.
Well, he's asking me about the one he had on his channel.
Oh.
And pretty good. It's the print is a little bit, it's got a little glare on it. There we go. Is a little bit fuzzy, not fuzzy, almost out of focus. And I don't know if that was the original way it was done, but it actually, now that I've got it and I look at it, because when I first pulled it out, I thought, it's not a real clear picture. But then the more I look at it, the more I'm thinking, this was of a pretty old line, and it kind of fits. The look of the logo kind of fits with what that train line was. So it's the Colorado Southern San Juan line is what the logo is, and that's the one that had the galloping geese on it. Went from Telluride. Well, went from where's that? Ouray and Ridgeway through Telluride and down to Dolores and Durango. So yeah, it's a pretty cool cup. I like it. Looks good on my shelf with the rest of them. So,
how many cups do you have in your collection?
Say again?
How many cups do you have in your collection, Claude?
Oh God, I don't know. I haven't counted. I still got a lot up in storage. I don't have any place to put them. But I can show you right quick. This is just one bookcase. The one there with the yellow cup, that's my channel cup. That's all train cups there, either from going to ride the trains and stuff, or other people's channels. Most of my cups are from vacation.
How'd you get into doing cup? What happened? You got quiet.
He muted himself. Fat.
Sorry, didn't unmute himself.
It's like I thought I screwed up.
No, I don't know how long I was muted, but
Not very long.
Okay. But anyway, that's what it is. Let's see.
Oh yeah, yes, Bernard, absolutely. He's asking if everything's turning green here. Yeah, in April, end of May, early April, the grass starts getting tough, and the mower starts, and I hit the ground running, keeping stuff mowed. So yeah, it's very green around here right now, and I'm there we go. There's no room in here.
There's another question for you, TJ. Besides the brewery, what other plans do you have for the layout?
I mean, nothing specific to me. It's more just Dad bouncing ideas off of me and asking what I think. So we talked a lot about the various bridges and stuff that go on there, because those are always really cool looking. And we've got at least 4 pretty good bridges, and
we'll have 4. Yeah, 4 fairly good sized bridges, and then maybe some small ones in the future, but they'll be very small. They'll be creek jumpers, basically.
Yeah. Like I said, I don't have a ton of ideas, because I'm not the creative one. I leave that up to him. And then he just asked me about it, and I go, oh yeah, that sounds really cool. But we'll do I really like the idea of doing like a cow pen cattle pen area. That's going to be kind of cool, especially with the soundtracks boards being able to do the cows.
Oh yeah, those are great.
So
those are great. Yeah, and you can spook the cattle too. You can get a button on your controller and hit it, and it's like somebody went in there and poked them with a cattle prod. They just get crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you haven't heard those, I'll have to do that in a future show. I'll have that on the show. But those sound cards, car soundboards are really good. And I thought about just putting it in the static in the pasture or the pen place, the cow pens and stuff. But then I got to thinking, no, if anything, I just park that car over there on the side.
I do think we should do like a little baseball field or football field or something like that, like a little high school baseball field or
that'd be cool.
Football field or something like that to have in there, because small town baseball and football fields are just really neat.
If nothing else, we might do a sandlot.
Or sandlot, yeah.
Sandlot ball. Yeah, that might be easier to do on it because we don't have a lot of other space to put that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, that might become big, but
Roy, Container Man's got a question. Or not a question. Well, I guess it's a question. It's in the form of a question.
I had mine a little bit longer than he did, I think, but not by much.
Yeah, I started losing mine at about 14.
Mine was about 20, 22, somewhere in there. But
yeah,
it
he didn't have a chance.
It went out pretty quick. Once it started, it was gone.
He didn't have a chance. Yeah.
It's easier to deal with in the morning. You don't have to brush it or anything.
Yeah, that's true. Easier to wash.
Yeah. Get up and don't even have to worry about it. Don't have to look in the mirror or nothing.
Hey, Rob T-Man wants to know, Claude, did you ever pass any jobs that you didn't want to do on the TJ?
Say that again, Steve.
Rob T-Man, he wants to know if you've ever passed a task that you didn't want to do on the TJ.
A task that I didn't want to do. No, I did pass on a tree building task onto my wife, my daughter, and my granddaughter, and they had fun. They sat around the table and cackled like chickens the whole time, and built a bunch of trees. But that's the only thing I really passed on to anybody. Now I have had TJ get under the layout to put something, when we're doing the framing for the bench work and stuff, and do something like that. So I didn't have to get down there, but no, not that I can think of. Can you think of anything, TJ? I don't know of anything that I passed off that.
No, I mean, I just, given I'm not there enough, usually
what about,
it's just helping out.
What about building turnouts?
Oh, no.
No.
Yeah, TJ's not the blue collar kind of worker.
I specifically graduated from college to not have to do that.
That was his motivation. That was his motivation to get through college, is so he didn't have to do stuff I do. Which it works. So
yeah,
that's great.
That's the most blue collar thing I do on a regular basis, mow the lawn, and I hate doing that. But
I love mowing the lawn.
And he doesn't mow it for me. No.
Oh God, no.
He won't mow it here. He only has to mow his house.
I have to mow.
He's got almost a full acre corner lot with a little bitty house on it, so it's a lot to mow.
Yeah, a 900 square foot house and about a half acre lot or so on it that it sits on, and full of trees. But I'd have no outhouse, so I've got no where to store a riding mower, so I have to have a push mower. And that's always fun.
Hey, TJ, Allison's got a question for you. What's the most fun thing you like on working on the layout?
So I've not gotten to do a whole lot of building or anything like that, but what I'm really looking forward to doing is the scenery stuff and putting all that in, because that to me is my favorite part of it, is looking at all the really cool, neat little details that you can fit into places and the neat stuff that you can put in just all over a layout, and little places that you can tuck stuff in and hide stuff and stuff that maybe nobody else will ever see, but it's there for you anyway. So
There you go.
I think you should put an airport.
Rob T-Man's got the solution, TJ, right there.
There you go. If I could get away with it, if I could put in AstroTurf, I would. But
yeah, if he could afford to slab half an acre, he can hire somebody to do the yard.
I'll just go out there with a blower and
blow it off. Yeah, exactly. Oh, here we go. Here's another one. Roy's got one for you.
Yeah, well, that costs money, and I have debt, so I'd rather pay off the debt than hire someone to mow the lawn. But maybe one of these days, that or I'll have a smaller yard.
Mike McCarville's got a question for all of us. What is the last model railroad item you purchased? Oh, interesting.
Oh.
I was just showing Claude mine.
The last model railroad purchase. Well, I bought another coal tower from Campbell Kits. Actually bought it from, I forgot the name of the hobby shop, but they had it on eBay for $40, which is less than half price. And it was brand new, factory sealed. Got a lot more stuff in it than the one I tried to build, but I got halfway through my other one and started to put lights in it that actually work, and realized I was kind of too far along to really do that easily. So I'm going to plan on that now on the new one and build this one a little bit better. And then I'll use the partially built one I've got now. I'll finish it up and kind of kit bash it into something else, a ore bin or maybe a small coal bin or something at the town on the upper deck. But it'll work. That's the last thing I bought.
Last thing I bought was something for the layout. It was probably a Christmas present for my dad. I think they were just miniatures, a couple different sets of miniatures of some kind. It's been a couple of years, so I don't remember exactly what they were. But
well, I know what I did.
Steve was showing me his.
Oh man! I said that house was going to be the last thing I was going to put together. Wrong answer. I got me. Where is it? And I got a little garage for it, and these are all laser cut wood deals, cross bucks and little tiny you guys can't see this, pallets. So these are all more little tiny stuff I got to put together. I'm so excited because I swore that house was the last thing I was going to have to build.
Good morning, Heath. TJ, this is Heath.
It's his fault.
Yeah, Humanity City Junction. He lives up in New York, so he's got all kinds of problems. But everybody blames Heath.
How did that
You can even
start?
go on his site and get a T-shirt that says "Blame Heath."
How did that start?
Who knows? You'd have to ask Heath.
Heath, how did that start? How did that everybody blames you?
Yeah.
Usually I get blamed for everything.
Yeah. Oh, Almar's got a good question while we're waiting on Heath.
Hey,
What's
good
the
morning,
next item
John.
you really need for the railroad?
We got Grandpa Rails. Good morning.
You want to
John.
try and answer that, TJ? Do you have any idea?
oh God, no, I've no.
I need so many different things. The problem is
there's more than one for sure.
Yeah, it kind of overlaps, and so it's kind of hard to answer that just straight away. Need some more control stuff, touch toggles, stuff like that for the control panel. I think I've got most of the tortoises I need from here on out, and that yet to be seen, but I've got several that I haven't used yet. Got a lot of scenery stuff. I've probably got more stuff, people and vehicles and all that kind of stuff than I can even get on the layout. So I don't know that I need any more than that. But probably stuff for the control, wiring of control panels and stuff like that would be my guess that I really need, that has to be there to operate the thing. pretty much everything else I've got. I need to get some more decoders for some more locos, but that'll be down the road too.
Heath wants to know if TJ has a YouTube channel.
Nope.
That was an easy question.
Yeah, I've thought about doing something for, various things for a long time, and there's nothing I want to do for any length of time and put that much work into to make it worth watching for anybody else. So
yeah, you do it like I did. I did mine just because some people wanted to see the layout. I thought, well, I'll stick it on YouTube. And then the only thing I've done since I started mine was, excuse me, get a free editor online, and done a little bit of editing at the first and at the end of the show, which turns out to be pretty easy. It does take time to do one, but I'm not worried about the theatrical quality of it as much as I am just showing the layout. So, which I need to do another before long.
It takes me 5 minutes to do mine.
Well, yours is all right there in front of you.
I get in the morning, I shoot it, and it's like, yep, that's it, I'm done. So what you see is what you get. Let's see. Heath says it started on Tom's Trains and Things last August. But Mike McCarville says it started with your girlfriend. Come on, Heath, where did it really start?
I vote girlfriend.
I think it's probably his girlfriend, too.
I've been married almost 42 years. I can tell you it was his girlfriend. Now, if all of a sudden I disappear off the camera, you'll know what happened.
Rob T-Man's got a question for you, TJ. Yeah. Do you have any railroad items you collect, and do run any trains at your house when you're not able to get to your dad's house?
So, no, I don't have my own train set up. Like I was saying, I don't enjoy the building side of it enough, like my dad does. That's probably his favorite part is the actual planning and building and all that fun stuff. And that's just not, I'm just not that kind of person. But I don't really have any specific railroad items. I have a handful of cups. I used to collect little trains and stuff when I was a kid. My grandma used to get them for me every year, usually for birthdays or Christmas. And probably my favorite one that I still have is a train. It was a engine in a coal car that's actually carved out of actual coal. It's pretty cool. It's sitting in my living room right now.
Oh, that's neat.
Yeah,
that is pretty cool. Yeah, somebody took a chunk of coal and carved an engine and loco out of it.
Yeah, I also have one somewhere. I think I still have it. It's a little pewter train set up on a railroad spike. But I don't, off the top of my head, I don't know exactly where that one's at right now. A lot of stuff is thrown in a box somewhere, I'm sure, but oh no, I could never do that. I don't have I have a hard enough time telling right and left in my day-to-day life that I don't need to try and do it when I'm flying a plane at the same time.
So you fly? You pilot?
No, he's talking about somebody asked if he flew RC. RC2.
Oh.
Yeah, because
I've seen the difference between, if anybody's done RC cars, the difference between doing an RC car and an RC airplane is when the vehicle's coming back to you and the control is right and left is reversed then because it's heading in the opposite direction. If you turn wrong with the car, not that big a deal. There's not far for it to go. If you do that with an airplane, you could be in trouble. So
I never could get the sticks down on a simulator, much less the real thing. So they're fun to watch, and they're really neat as models, especially the warbirds and stuff like that. The really good detailed ones are really cool, but the flying part of it I never would have gotten into.
Easy, Roy. I'll hold you accountable for that statement.
I mean, I don't think we can make any denials there, unfortunately.
Yeah, well, here, in fact, I don't know if you can see the picture right here. This is actually That's actually a real tintype. Let me get the camera turned the right way. There we go. A pair of train robbers right there. How old were you there? 5?
Oh, yeah,
6,
5,
maybe?
6, somewhere in there.
I wish I could get this here. I can get it closer. I'll take it off of this. Get this real close. Look at this. Look at this face. Wait a minute. Oh, look at that snarl. Now you have to remember the girls that were. This was taken at Silver Dollar City in Branson, Missouri, and we get these little get-ups on to take this. And this is, like I say, a real tintype. It's a piece of tin that they put this on, and we were sitting there smiling, and they said, "No, you're supposed to be outlaws. Give us a snarl." So that's what they got right there. And of course, I don't know if TJ remembers, but the girls were pretty good looking. We're doing this. So it was hard to snarl at them, but
I'm sure they were.
much trouble.
You look like a baby yourself there.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's what? How old are you now? 35?
Yeah, almost 30.
Almost 36. So, yeah, that was 30 years ago.
Wow.
Oh, God.
Yeah. Time flies when you're having fun, huh?
Mm. Now I feel older.
Oh. I still have to go home from time to time.
Yes, he does. Yes, he does. He also has to be careful because his mother will find out.
Off the top of my head, I honestly can't remember anything specific outside of, I'm sure you've said something silly or something or misunderstood something that somebody said, but off the top of my head, I really can't think of anything.
Yeah, I'm trying to think if there's been any really embarrassing.
You don't have any shame, so.
Yeah, it's true. It's hard to embarrass somebody that's shameless. So.
And it's just gotten worse or better, I guess, however you want to look at it, as you've gotten older. So.
I got a question. What is the most enjoyable thing that you two have ever done together?
Oh, well,
the trip to Colorado, but I'd say, I mean, growing up playing sports, having him coach me was.
I was going to say, coached his a lot of his sports teams all the way up through junior high school.
Yeah.
Wow.
Because here in Oklahoma at the time when he was going through junior high, excuse me, the sports programs were not in the schools.
They were
the teams were taken from the schools. They used school names and stuff like that, but they weren't in the school. They are now, I think, but they weren't then. It was a separate youth sports program. So I coached all the way through 8th grade football with him. And then, of course, he went off to high school and played high school. And baseball, too, before that, in Little League. Not Little League, but youth baseball. Coached his sister, too. So, yeah, those were probably the best times we've had together. But we've had some good times. We've been on cruises together and had great times. Parasailing and all that kind of stuff, and eating on cruises. Yeah, that's where he really expanded his eating. What he would eat was on a cruise, but
it's free. You don't have to pay for it there.
Yeah, stuff like that was probably the best times that we've had is stuff like that.
Yeah, the Colorado trip was a lot of fun.
Yeah, the trip we had. I've shown this picture several times on here, I think, but this is. My best friend, that's TJ there. My best friend here, and me, ugly me in the middle. But that was up at New Mexico, Colorado a couple of years ago. And we had a really good time.
Claude Roy says you guys need to go back there and do another picture. You could do a side by side of then and now.
I will definitely be going back at some point.
I think he was talking about Silver Dollar City picture.
Oh, this one.
I'm assuming since that one's a lot older than the one from 2 years ago.
If they're still even doing that, I don't even know if they're still doing that or not. Because, like I say, this is actually a tintype. That's a piece of metal in that frame. I just took some 1x2 I had and made a frame around it, but it's a piece of metal. Unlike the picture above of my wife and daughter a few years later, that's a photograph there. And of course, this is us in 1995 on the Arkansas River in Browns Canyon, Colorado, and the water was way up. In fact, the morning we went, TJ weighed 88 pounds, I think, when we went on that trip.
Soaking wet, yeah.
And the water was running, had just dropped below 3,000 cubic feet a second. And before that, the day before, it was too high. They wouldn't let him go because he didn't weigh enough. That's a good picture, though, too, for the look on the face. I'll see if I can get one of them. There he is, right there next to me.
Oh, that's cool.
Look at that face. And of course, Mom's got her head turned because she hates water in her face. And I think she knew there was a picture coming because she hates her photo being taken too. So she killed both of them with one turn of the head. But yeah, that was a good trip too. I enjoyed that trip with the kids, and they got to stand in the snow. And that was the first time they'd been to the mountains. In July, they got to stand in the snow. So
yeah.
But okay, wait a minute. I saw one on here. Oh, here we go. This is one. Rob says that was a dirt-eating grin, TJ. And Rob, that could have been. He could have been eating dirt that day. There's no telling.
That was my sister's doing.
Yeah, she did make him eat dirt one time. I looked the part to a T. Is that this photo up here or the one on the trip that we took? I don't know what you're asking there. I think you're probably asking the first one.
He says you need to grow back the mutton chops, Claude.
Yeah, well, the wife doesn't like this. So, but I'm growing this because we're going back to Animas Forks in July. So I'm growing this. But yeah, she's not much for facial hair. So I don't think the mutton chops are coming back.
That beard is the longest I've ever had it, and I couldn't stand it. So,
well, yeah, I shaved the mutton chops. I had that. I started growing that beard at Thanksgiving, I think, and we went in June. And the day before we came back, I shaved it off. I was tired of it by then. I don't normally have a beard, so I may have a week's growth, but I don't have this much. So it does kind of get in the way. When I eat, I feel like I got it all over my face.
I finally shaved mine off. I got tired of it.
I just don't like the fact that every time your lower face moves, you can feel it. And
I got tired of looking like a homeless person.
What did I want to be when I grew up? I think pretty much runs the gamut of everything that a little boy wants to do. You know, police officer, firefighter, athlete of some kind, astronaut, veterinarian, just because I like dogs. But once I went to school to actually become a teacher, got my degree in secondary education, and the year that I graduated is the year the housing market crashed and subsequently crashed everything else. And schools weren't hiring and all that stuff. And it just never could. I could get interviews here and there, just never could get in the door. And so I took some temporary jobs, and turned out to be 5.5 years worth of a temporary job. But then I ended up getting back at OSU, and even though I don't work in the education side of things, it's more of an administrative side. I love it. It's something I didn't really know how much I would love until I got here, and never looking back. But no, as far as growing up, it's pretty typical teenage. You know, as a kid, when you think of what you want to do, it's all the same kind of stuff.
And besides Heath, I don't think any of us males actually ever grow up. So we still play the trains.
Mike McCarville's got a question. Is it for all of us? I don't know. What model railroad purchase do you regret the most? That's interesting. I don't know.
I don't have one.
That's a good question. I don't know.
For me,
I'm gonna have to be right back.
I'm trying to think.
Oh, I know what it would be. No, I don't.
I bought several things that, I got and then later on thought, I didn't really need to buy that. But it wasn't that I necessarily regretted them.
Well, for mine was my Stewart model sanding tower. That thing was a piece of garbage.
Yeah, I see. And I don't know of anything like that I can speak to. I mean, I've bought stuff and I got them and then I thought, I'm not going to use them. But then like one of the items, I bought a pair of engines, an A and B set of engines, and I think they were FA1s. I believe that's what they were, FA1 and FB1. And I ended up, and they were HO standard. And I got them and I thought, I'm not going to have any place to put those or run those. And those are the ones I sent up to Nancy up in Seattle that went back and forth across the country 5 times. But so I don't really regret having bought them because they went to a good home. So I can't really say I've regretted it. I don't know. I think my biggest thing, I probably regret putting my layout upstairs. That I think is going to come back to bite me in the backside at some point, just because my knees and my feet. Although right now I don't have any real problem going up and down. Some days are better than others, or worse than others. But for the most part, I can still get up and down pretty easy up that. But yeah, thinking 10 years down the road, if I'm still around.
I told you can
if
still
I
put
it
one of those lift
downstairs,
chairs.
it would be easier.
That's what I was thinking. Get one of those lift chairs.
A little lift chair, yeah.
No.
I can just see you riding up and down.
Yeah, I don't think so, Tim.
I'll just have TJ carry me up.
There's a reason I live in Stillwater.
Okay. He said he's overpaid for things, but not sure he regrets them. Oh, here we go. What's this one? Klein, you can have
Rob
TJ carry you upstairs. Heath, see, Heath and I are on the same page right there.
Yeah, that ain't happening.
No, I don't think he's strong enough, Heath.
Rob T-Man wants to know how many different scales you model. Or
TJ?
Owned. I don't know. I guess.
Oh, I've had well, not counting my very first train set, which was, I don't know if it was American Flyer or Lionel. It was back in the early 60s, 61, 62, somewhere in there. My first train set. It was the 3-rail. But I haven't done that since. Then I had HO in high school. I got back into it in high school, or got into it in high school. I had HO. And then when the kids were little, or at least my daughter was little, I don't know if I got rid of them before you came around or not, TJ.
Well,
I had N-scale.
You had it taken down. You still had.
I still had it, but
yeah.
had the cars and stuff, but I'd taken the layout down.
Yeah.
And then I'm doing HO and HO-N3 combined. So, but that's HO scale, even though it's HO-N3, it's still HO scale. Here we go. Bernard's got a solution. Building an elevator up through the mountain. Well, except Bernard, that's right in the middle of the 3-car garage, so I don't think that would work very well.
No, that wouldn't work.
And Roy says he's regret starting to buy trains. He should have stuck with one some trucks and vehicles. Yeah, TJ Roy drives a semi all over the country.
All right.
Yeah, he does a lot of live streams from his cab, so it's pretty cool. Okay, and Bernard says Claude is going to move into the mountain. That'll be my doghouse someday, I'm sure.
Oh, so there's 4 bedrooms upstairs, or well, three bedrooms upstairs that you can.
I can just live up there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, they could do that, and then you could just bring me food.
Hey, Claude, do you have a refrigerator up in your train room?
No, I got one in the game room right across the hall from it, though.
That's close enough.
Yeah. We can have some place to put the beer. So, but yeah, it's in the game room. They get one of the shorty, that they have for. Well, I've got the one that my daughter had at college, and then I've got the one TJ had at college. So I've got one down in my shop, and one's up in the game room upstairs. So that I do have. I do have a refrigerator. I am just going to need somebody to carry me up and down the stairs. That's what it is.
Yeah.
There we go. Rod says you can run a snack train to me. You can figure out how to get it to climb those stairs. Yeah.
Hey TJ, what's your favorite beverage? That's my question.
Oh, let's do this one here.
Well, either coffee or beer.
Oh, that's not a hard question.
Definitely beer though, I think.
There you go. Okay.
And if you try to ask me what kind, that's a whole other thing.
He likes all the craft stuff.
Yeah.
He likes pumpkin beer and peanut butter beer and.
I've never had a peanut butter beer, but I wouldn't mind trying one. I have had one that was infused with peanuts though, and it was actually really good. The peanut flavor was very subtle, and it was at the end, but it was actually really interesting.
Yeah, he likes all that craft beer stuff. So
our local brewery here in Stillwater.
Wait a minute, I just messed up again. Let me put that one back up.
Yeah. Hey, Claude. Joel says you need a dumb waiter, but Heath says you are the dumb waiter.
Yeah, well, there you go. Heath would be right. Heath would be right. But Heath had a question for you, Steve.
Uh-oh.
It's on the screen. Can you not see that?
I must have missed it.
Do you have a train running around your room up by the ceiling? I don't think I noticed it before.
No, not yet. There's a G scale up there. Whoops, there. It's kind of just a decoration right now. It's a cheap Bachman that goes around a Christmas tree, and it's noisier than heck. But one of these days, if I ever get time, I'll get it running around here.
We have one of those out in the attic, I think. I'm not sure exactly what kind it is, but it's.
Oh, it's that one that we got for the run around the Christmas tree when you guys were little was a plastic battery operated. Yeah. It's about G scale, I guess.
Yeah, somewhere in that general size.
About that size.
I had one as a kid.
I did buy an OM30 Mogul, I think, 260 Mogul. Done in the movie scheme of the Rio Grande. And I thought it was a really good price, and I thought I thought it was a good price. It may not have been a good price. But I thought it might make a good train to run around the tree, but it's not quite big enough. It needs to be G scale, I think, for the tree.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's just not going to be hefty enough.
Yeah.
So, because the OM30, the problem with that is, and it being a narrow gauge engine, it's not any bigger than HO scale. Slightly bigger than HO scale.
Yeah.
Engine would be. So it's really not big enough, I don't think. So I'll be getting rid of that, selling that on eBay, back on eBay, I'm sure. It's a nice looking engine, but any place to run it. So Steve says, "Oh no, craft beer discussion has no end." Well, that's true, Steve. You could talk hours and hours with TJ. He's even brewed his own beer before.
Yeah.
They had that.
I'll do another one.
Rail says peanut butter stout is good. I've not had peanut butter stout.
The one I had,
chocolate stouts are pretty good. The breakfast, the oatmeal stout is pretty good.
Yeah. The one that I had, it was our local brewery here in Stillwater. I think they just took their standard wheat beer and basically soaked force infused peanuts with it, put it through a little system that basically makes that process a lot faster. Like I said, it was really interesting. A stout would probably be really good with that. It would help sort of balance out some of the roasted notes that you get in there. But
Allie's got another question, or not actually a question, but a comment that TJ would like.
yeah,
you hit on his button, Allie.
oh yeah,
He's a Hogwarts guy.
Big Harry Potter fan. That's one I wouldn't mind having a model of, just to sit around the engine itself specifically, but even the whole train, just to set up on my desk or something would be pretty cool.
Yeah, they've got a whole like not a layout, but a whole set with circle of track and all that in HO scale. I saw that. Well, in fact, I think I sent you a picture of it. I saw it there.
Yeah, I've seen several different variations of them, but yeah, definitely. I've got all the books, and in fact, one of my friends made me. I play D&D, and so he made me a dice bag from one of the houses the house that I'm in. So,
okay, Heath, take care.
Take care, Heath.
Have a good one.
Sure, after he comes in and causes commotion.
Yeah. Boy, he stirred us up, didn't he? Yeah, I was thinking about taking the motor out of that G scale, that Bachman thing, and remotoring it with something quiet. If I get it to run quiet, I might actually do it out here.
Well, that should be pretty easy, because it probably does. It probably has an open frame motor in it.
Yeah.
And those are the ones that are really loud.
Well, it's got plastic gears in it too, so I could probably come up with something.
Well, you take a little bit of white lithium and you put on the gears. That'll help with the noisy of the gears, and then use a CAN motor, and I bet you can get it to run a lot quieter.
It'll wake the dead.
They're talking cars now. Everybody's talking cars.
Yeah, see, they don't care about us.
So I got a question for TJ, and I'm not asking this yet about the layout. What do you want to see on the layout that you haven't told me about yet, or Mike would like to see on there? Besides the baseball field, that was one.
Yeah.
But I'd already thought about doing something like that. This will take up the rest of the time of the show.
I don't know. I don't know that I've thought about it from that perspective enough.
Well, what do you think about? Okay, I've decided. I was going to do 2 towns on the upper deck.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now I've kind of changed my mind. I'm going to do the 1 town over the yard, and then the other side, I'm going to go with a mining district.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, he didn't sound too interested in that, does he?
No, I thought. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you had more to go.
No.
Because you said you'd already changed your mind, so I thought you were just saying.
No, I have. I mean, that's what I'd like to do. But
yeah, no, I think that'd be great.
In that, is there anything in that you would want to do to it?
Not that I can think of off the top of my head, but I do think in the town it might be kind of neat to do, if we could do like a little county fair kind of thing. Might be interesting. I don't know if we'd have the room for that, but those are always kind of cool. As far as the coal, like the mining district, I mean, no, not off the top of my head.
Nothing particular.
Yeah.
I got a question, Claude. What do you think you regret about your layout? What have you done that you wish you hadn't have done?
Put it upstairs.
Besides that. I mean, if you had to do over and you're
some of the construction techniques that I used, the two front bridges on the mountain weren't too bad. The long trestle bridge, the first one I did, the timber trestle, and then the one I'm working on now, which is a steel trestle, I did them both exactly the same way. I tried to fit the vents and stuff to the layout as opposed to building the bridge and setting it in and then getting stuff to fit to the bridge, which would have been much easier to do. And that's what most people do, most sane people do anyway. But I've done it just opposite. Now, it's okay because it just takes longer to do it that way. But yeah, if I could go back and redo those, and I'm not about to now, but if I could redo those, or if I knew what I know now, if I'd have known that then, I would have done it that way. That's the only regret I've got on it. Building it upstairs is, like I say, it's not a regret right now, but it may down the road. It depends on how my legs and back and stuff hold out. But
yeah. See that stair chair is gonna look. You say no now, but
no, I'm not saying no. No, I'm not saying no. Who's saying no, TJ?
What we do, what we do is get you those Boston Dynamic leg. You can they make this thing that you can stand/sit in that basically robotically make your legs work and use that to climb up.
Kind of like a Wile E. Coyote contraption, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what you want to see. Yeah.
I mean, it might be entertaining for me.
Okay, here you go. Here's your question, TJ.
Oh yeah, those are probably the centerpieces of the layout. Almost, they're really cool looking. The detail work that goes into them and definitely makes it kind of gives it that era feeling that we're going for.
Rob's got a good question
concrete
for you.
Or pure steel.
Yeah, Rob T-Man's got a question. Besides the overall layout, what is the most rewarding project that you both worked on?
Besides the overall layout, Rob, you have to. Is that within trains or just in general? Because I don't know. The only thing we've really worked on together is really mainly the bench work, especially on the first edition before I took it all down. We did a lot more together on that than we did on this particular one. So Rob T-Man, you need to qualify that statement. Is that on trains or in general? I can probably come up with a better idea on general, but
he says trains, Claude.
Trains. Well, it's been bench work, I guess, so far. That we've actually worked on together.
Yeah, the first edition of the bench work was because I was living at home at the time, so I was there.
He was here. Yeah, he was here, and we put that up, and then I got to realizing that wasn't going to work really for what we wanted down the road. So I pulled it all out, and I figured do it then before it got too far along, which I'm so glad I did because this track plan is going to fit so much better and be much easier to work on.
I got a question for you, TJ. What's the best thing that you ever learned from your dad? What? Claude snickering. Okay.
I can tell you some of the best things I've told him.
Yeah,
that applied, but he won't think of that kind of stuff.
probably. Oh God, I mean, there is quite a bit.
Because he's at that age now where he realizes we knew a lot more of what we were talking about than he did when we
Yeah.
talked.
I think that's probably more it than any specific piece of advice or anything. It was just the realizing that all the things that you told me back when I was a little kid and didn't pay attention to, I at least still remember a lot of those things and can implement them. I think probably the biggest thing is getting some just if you're going to do something, do it right and do as best as you can. Take some pride in what you do and what your work and that sort of thing. And I think just from working with him, and I don't know if this was ever anything specifically that he taught me necessarily, but I hate doing the same thing multiple times if I don't have to. So I'd rather do it right the first time, even if it takes a little bit longer. Do it.
Claude and I are both nodding.
Do it right that first time, so you don't have to go back and do it again.
Sometimes it takes many times to figure that out, but
it applies to so many different things. Not just something that can be important, or important to like your life necessarily, but just anything in general. Planning just a little bit ahead helps you from having to redo stuff.
Yeah, that's a great work ethic.
Well, Steve Anderson says you need to do the baseball field from the Richard Pryor film where the train runs through the outfield. I'm trying to remember the name of that movie. Yeah, he's a minor league baseball player, like in Hoboken or something, and they hear the train blow the horn, and they have to stop the game, and they go to the two corners of the outfield, and they move the fence, and the train comes right through the outfield.
I don't know if I've seen that.
Oh, Allie.
We'll keep that in mind, Steve.
Yeah.
We'll keep that in mind. That could be pretty good.
Allie wants to know about my newfound freedom. No, we've had.
We didn't talk about that, did we?
Yeah, it's nothing huge. I just we had a house guest for 3 months, and she's gone. She left this morning, so
she was driving Steve crazy. So he's now free again.
So
that's why he's in such a good mood this morning.
Yeah, well, I've been up since 3:30 this morning. So.
Yeah, her gone, and no sleep then.
Yeah, got to bed at 11:30, then loading a tractor, and then got up at 3:30.
Yeah.
Nothing fancy. It's just, yeah.
Nothing fancy?
No, nothing huge.
Okay.
I do feel like I graduated high school, though. No,
Brewster's Millions. Thank you, Roy. Is the name of that movie, Richard Pryor movie.
Oh, yeah, but I didn't. Was he an actual baseball player at the time?
He was a minor league baseball player at the start of that. Yeah. And then he gets all the money. He buys the team. Remember, he buys the team and play the Yankees, and yeah.
Well, we're getting down to the last couple minutes, but I got a question. What's your favorite movie, TJ? Do you guys have similar tastes in movies?
Oh, he's already told you he's a nerd head with the Harry Potter stuff.
Well, he got that from you.
Not from me. He didn't. No.
It's hard for me to qualify a favorite movie because I like so many different kinds, different genres, all that kind of stuff. It's just, there's too many for that, I think. But one of my favorites is I definitely enjoy sports movies. Major League is always one of those that's up there. That's just a great comedy movie. But yeah, it's too hard to give just one. Kind of like favorite TV shows or favorite things to eat. It's hard to pick just one.
I'll tell you one of my favorites, and it's actually has a train in it. Is Silver Streak. Yeah, I saw that in high school. Took a date to it, and we both thoroughly enjoyed it. Silver Streak was one of those rare movies that has a little bit of everything in it. It's got the comedy, it's got the exciting adventure kind of stuff. Not that it's, on the edge of your seat, but you're still kind of waiting to see what's going to happen next. It's got romance in it, it's got a little bit of everything. So I really enjoyed it. I've seen it 24 times probably, and I still laugh at it every time, and I know it's
Yeah, Gene Wilder and Richard Pryor just worked really good together.
They really did. That was their first movie together, and that's one of my favorites. And it's not because of the train, although I got to ride on a train similar to that when I was a kid through the desert like he does, and so that brought back some memories too for me. So that's one of my favorites. Not that it's the favorite, but it's one of the favorites. So yeah, he wants to be Harry Potter.
Hey, if that world really existed and I could go to Hogwarts, I would do it in a heartbeat.
There you go, Roy. I told you.
I make no apologies about that.
I don't know, Allie. We haven't talked about that yet. We'll have to discuss that this week or something and see. We may not. I don't know how Steve feels. I don't know what we're doing for Easter, so I need to find that out, I guess. It snuck up on me, so.
The family's coming over. That's all I know.
Yeah, we'll have the family here, so I don't know what Saturday's going to be like, but we'll make that decision sometime this week. And if we don't come on, we'll probably put up a banner or something that says, "Nah, we're not. Come back next week." But anyway, that's the show for this week, guys. Thanks for coming on, TJ. I'll have you back on again when I can get Ted on here, and you guys can give your thoughts on the trip we took a couple of years ago.
Sounds good.
That'd be from a different perspective than me. They've heard tons of it from me, but it might be interesting to hear from two guys that aren't normally in the hobby realm, so to speak. So anyway. Thanks everybody for showing up and appreciate it. Allie, I'm glad to hear your parents are doing better. And Steve, glad you're free.
I am too.
Go party. You can go party now.
Oh, we got a party planned. Yeah. Celebration.
All righty. Everybody take care. We'll see you later.